Thank you very much, Mina Sahib. Assalamu alaikum. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm humbled by the presence of people who know energy much better than I do. I'm not an energy expert. So when Nasir Sahib called me up and said that you need to be one of the reviewers, I was wondering why. I mean, as journalists, we can pretend to be experts of everything, but really energy is not exactly a field that I have tried to build any expertise on. I mean, the last book that I read on energy was by, I think, Daniel Yergin, the prize author of also Shattered Peace, and there was another one, I think, Energy Future. But in between, I was sort of skipping and dipping, and of course, whenever electricity allowed, I've been reading a couple of articles on energy. But to sort of review a whole book on energy written by an expert, frankly, is a daunting task. But since he deputed me to the task, so whenever people send me books, frankly, first I curse them, then I bless them. I curse them because I have to read them, and then I bless them because thanks to them, I ended up reading a book. So thank you very much, Dr. for giving me the opportunity to read this book. I'll confine myself to the book itself. I've always believed that books talk. All books talk. And this book does talk in terms of certain merits. So let me start with that. I think the first merit is that it has allowed people like myself, journalists who are tied into what we call crisis journalism all the time, to probably detach ourselves from the daily rigmarole of events and focus on more substantive issues that will be plaguing and are plaguing our future. And if there is this interface between authorship, scholarship, and journalism, I think you can hope to project the more important facets of national debate onto the larger population. I think this is a very important contribution that the author has made by asking a journalist to be here, and I think that's the beginning of the kind of networking that is required, where worthy research needs to be not just confined to book launch ceremonies, but needs to be projected onto the larger national discourse, so that the larger national discourse becomes more important and more relevant to our lives. I think this interface has already happened. So that's the first merit of the book. The other is that it is totally comprehensive. You would get books and articles available in the market that would talk about, say, the water problem in Pakistan, the wind energy, the biogas alternative. You could also look at certain books about hydropower, thermal power. So there are segmented literature that is available. What this book does is to put everything under the sun as far as Pakistan's energy profile is concerned. So I could say that this is a very comprehensive profile of Pakistan's energy sector. So if you want to know about the problems that plague BACTA or KESC, I want to know how the HUBCO deal was done, I want to find out why the Alternative Energy Board did not do what it was supposed to do, if you want to know what Enercon is all about, you would find each and everything in this book, which I think has a great merit. You may not be requiring a whole set of books to refer to if you're doing something on energy. I think this one book, if you have it in your library, is going to be exceedingly helpful to you in terms of bringing everything under the sun as far as Pakistan's energy profile is concerned. So it's totally detailed overview of this very, very important sector. And it's not just the present, it's also the past. It's very important to link up the present energy crisis. If WAPTA was performing, as per the book's claims, as brilliantly as it was in the past, what went wrong with WAPTA today? I think that linkage with the past is absolutely vital. Similarly, the background to the IPP's crisis, how did it start? It's not just the present day IPPs, it's the past day IPPs that need to be also discovered. So this linkage between the present and the past, along with the energy sector's profile, is available. So I would strongly recommend for those who are looking for reference books in terms of finding new ideas and reading comprehensive details of important aspects of the sector, to keep it in their libraries. The third merit of the book is that it has, it's the design of the book. Its chapters are self-contained. It is not that you have to necessarily read the first chapter to understand the sixth chapter. If you want to skip and dip and you're short on time or short on electricity, then you can just select a chapter that you want to read, and at the end of the day, you will discover that you are well served by the book. So all the chapters are self-contained, though at the same time there's a larger design that binds them together. But there are books available which, if you were to miss like the first couple of chapters, the last chapter will not make sense to you. So it's almost as if that the author has made a deliberate effort to make sure that each chapter on Pakistan's energy needs, Pakistan's energy sector's profile, about the institutions, and about the way forward. These are self-contained chapters. So I think that makes it very easy to read, and also easy language, not exactly techno-talk. That's the other merit. I mean, if you are averse to reading books written by experts, this is a book that should be very friendly to you. There is very little emphasis on techno-talk. You could still decipher the terminology that is used, and it's easy to understand. Another merit is that the book tries to contextualize the energy crisis. It's not just one technical expert engaging with the reader through the use of easy to understand information and terminology only on the sector itself. He tries to posit his argument in the context of decision making, in the context of governance, in the context also of the larger issue of commitment to solving the country's problems. So it's not just one technical expert writing a book on a technical side. It has a context to it, and most books which are written with a context, I've discovered them to be very useful. I think things to be taken up, given the book's great start. I would expect Dr. Saab to now focus on the decision making in the energy sector. I think that is one area where Dr. Saab can do a follow-up research. If the proposals are to be implemented, what is the type of decision-making mechanism does he propose? Does he want a hierarchical decision maker? Does he want all the decision makers to be sitting together? Does he want the establishment to be involved in it? Should it be handled by one institution, one individual, a couple of institutions? I think that will be helpful, given your experience, to give us a profile of the decision-making processes in countries which have been able to address the energy sector's problems, because that can sort of help us have an insight into the problems of decision making. I think the book also needs, the next book also needs to focus on the demand side of the problem. I think this book's focus has been on the supply side of the problem primarily. Look, if you keep on expanding in terms of population the way we have been expanding, natural resources are finite, and human capacity to keep pace with expanding populations also subject to science and technology breakthroughs, which are great to have, but frankly don't necessarily stay with the speed of population growth. So at this speed of population growth, how much energy resources are you going to discover? How much science and technology is going to be helpful to you? So the demand side management needs to be a focus of the upcoming book. And of course, the last thing which Mushaid Saab has referred to in great detail, that is the politics of energy in this part of the world. Things happen in Pakistan's energy sector not because of a single individual or a couple of politicians or bureaucrats. They happen because there's a larger design of energy politics within which Pakistan has to operate. So a book that addresses that in the upcoming months or years is going to be a great sequel to this one. But on balance, I think I'm very glad that I read this book, and I very strongly recommend you to buy this book and keep it with you. And this makes a great reading. Thank you very much.